Well, good morning and how do you do, mine fans? It's another beautiful day out here at Tecopa Mines, and today we're going to pop back into War Eagle and do some work on a couple of ladder sections way back in the mine. And of course, I've got some really good help today. I've got Tony and Marci. There's Marci over there and Linda over here. And while we're back here, we're going to take some of these fuse spools that we dug up out of one of our archaeological dig sites, i.e. a place that the Anaconda or TCM crews threw them decades ago, and we're going to place them back in the mine to get them out of the weather, just to make them safe until we can use them somewhere else in the restoration. So we're going to carry those back in, leave them back in the portal, and we're going to head back into the mine and try to get up into a couple of spots that even I haven't been into yet. So yeah, those spots still exist. So come on along and let's have us a great day underground here. It's always a good day to be underground when you're out here at Tecopa Mines. So all right, so here's some of those spools in place now back in here. The backstory on these is back in the good old days, safety fuse for the blasting came on these reels, about 1,500 feet per reel. So this is just a very small percentage of the ones we recovered. And we found a spot last year where a bunch of them had kind of brought down into the wash and hung up in a curve in the wash and buried, and we've been extricating them and using them in display in various parts of the mine because they are artifacts, probably the old TCM days. And we brought some of them in here today back into War Eagle, so they'll be safe and out of the weather, and we'll incorporate them to future displays back in here. But back in here behind the gate, hey look, gratuitous Tony shot. And the other ladies further down the drift, and we're going to go back in there and do some work. And the next time we're over, we'll probably bring some more of these here. And in the meantime, we'll see if our resident foxes that keep visiting this section of the mine when I'm not here come in here and knock these all over like they do everything else that I leave back in here. They're playful, but man, they're annoying. Okay. In we go. Oh look, it's our flat car that we brought in here last year, and you can thank Tony and Marci for that. 24 gauge, flat car, rolls real nice in the tracks here. In fact, we're going to be clearing up some more of this rail and actually using it to bring structural materials back and forth as we try to shore up this section or pull unneeded material out to use in other sections. As you can see, you need a lot of timbering in some parts of the mine here, and some parts of what I need are in other areas not being used because they're down. So we'll bring that back out and use it out here, or take stuff further back in. And there's some rail back in there we need too that we're going to pull out that the Anaconda company had set aside in a scrap pile that we have better uses for. Just got to get it out. This car will probably be our way of doing it. So yay flat car. Needs oil. Now, well, back in here we have this nice ladder going up about 100 feet into a drift that's part of the Grant claim. It's the War Eagle extension onto the Grant claim, which they used back in the TCM days to bring ore out through the head frame on the Grant claim instead of bringing it all the way back and out the main War Eagle claim. And we've got this nice beautiful ladder, which coming down here to the bottom, you can see where somebody set fire to it. And fortunately, the fire did not keep going. I mean, they put some effort into getting this ladder started, and it went out by itself, it looks like. But had it kept going, had this ladder burned all the way up there, there's pretty significant timber set you can't quite see from here. But if that stuff had gotten gone, it would have spread to the Grant drift up above us and probably broken out through the main shaft on the Grant claim about 500 feet above that. So all that would have been shot, burned out, probably collapsed in, in short, we would have lost a good section of the mine here and a major ventilation pathway that might have made the rest of the mine untenable. So vandals come in here and do stuff like that. This is why I have the gating, folks. All it takes is one more, I'm gonna call it, what is that? That's a terrorist attack is what it is. It's arson, it's vandalism. And the people who did that may actually be watching this video. If you are, you know, karma's coming. But it's a damn shame when you got so many people back in the day who put so much work into building this place, and one moron wipes it out in 5 minutes. We've had 2 major shaft fires that have closed shafts in War Eagle in Colombia, and several smaller ones in this mine in a noonday, and none of it had to happen, folks. I'd have a lot more to show you if it wasn't for those thoughtless bastards. But I got more to show you today too, so let's carry on with that. And here's where we're gonna go first off, folks. We're way back in here. We've got this vent pipe going way up there to these workings with the remains of the air and water pipes here. Got a big chute over to the side over here. So they were working this section back in the day. I have not been up there. The ladderway has been pulled out. Let's take a look up the shaft here. So it's all pretty slick climbing up there. And got something back up there. So this is an area that I have not been up into. As I've tried to climb it a couple times, but by myself it's just not safe or prudent. But now I've got some excellent help here, so we're doing it. So everybody rigs the ropes and other good stuff, and there he goes. We have Tony heading up the chute, and as his wife so helpfully points out, he assumes the risk. He's doing this of his own accord. He signed a waiver at one point, which is still valid. So let's see what he's doing up there. Some more light on the subject. Don't just sit there, find something. And stop knocking rocks down. Not very hard. Okay, what do you got up there again?
Big stope.
Yeah?
Looks like it may have been partially backfilled, but there's an easy path through with some more workings I can see over to the right.
All right.
So it's definitely worth coming up to explore.
That's the direction I kind of figured it would go, because it might tie into the section I want to visit. So.
I'm tying off a rope, which I'm going to throw down here in a minute.
Okay, so for those of you listening, he's going to tie off a rope and throw it down in a minute. If you couldn't hear him, I don't know. So we'll stand down here with bated breath and wait for the rope to come down. Anytime now. Oh, here I am at the top, slightly out of breath. With Tony over here. And the ladies are coming up behind. And yeah, we've got a stope here. I don't think it's backfilled so much as I think stuff is slushed down and not dragged out. So we'll prove that when we get back in there, but we've still got a lot of the infrastructure here, and I'll have a seat. Wait. Yes. I think it's just more material they blew down from the back further up into the stope.
Oh, okay.
And never dragged out.
Yeah, you'll see as soon as you go around the corner, it opens up.
Yeah.
You can clearly see it's the stope.
Fantastic. That must be Linda coming up. Not an easy climb,
Not exactly.
but not horrible either.
Not horrible. So, all right.
Marcello!
It's a fish. No, not bad.
That's an industry term, except for that timber.
Sorry, Ross is sitting on the anchor now, so it won't move.
Yeah.
Good thing.
Was that a fat joke?
No, not at all.
Could have been. All right, so now we're gonna head up. Yeah, we got a pretty big scree pile here. That my guess is they probably blasted it further up and maybe slushed it to this point, but then they never took it down the pass. So maybe some pretty good ore still in here. That's okay. Who's got the air monitor going off?
I don't know.
Okay, are your phone ringing? It was on you. So, People are messing with me in here now. So, oops. So I've never been into this section before. And by the lack of feet prints in the scree, not a lot of other people have. But, so, there's a ladder here I want to get to, but can't get my plastic foot to cooperate. Get me to it. Come on. Oh, bigger stope, look at that. Yeah, not janky at all. Yeah, it's a slusher stope. So let's go see what's up behind that cribbing. I'm sure this ladder won't drop us into an abyss at all. Stay tuned. All right, so now I'm up in this stope, and it's a pretty good looking stope, and we got a lot of rock pillars up here holding the back up. A lot of metal pieces left behind. Most of those look like they're drill bits and drill steel. We do have a jack leg over here, or I'm sorry, not a jack leg, but it's a jack that a drill would mount on. That's old tech. Probably you put a drifter drill on something like that. I haven't found one of those back in here yet. That's probably coming down with us. And a whole bunch of other stuff up here. And another ladder going up off that way. Yeah, this is definitely the mother lode area for exploration. And the air's not so bad up here either. There is some circulation in here, so it's coming up in here from somewhere and circulating around. All right, so I'm up in here now. We got a lot of drill steel back over there. All pretty rusty because it's humid up here. The ventilation's not what it should be. There's the top of, and here's the top of that jack I was looking at here. Too heavily rusted, I probably won't pull it out. Got a scaling bar right here. Used for pulling down some of the back, and so it got pretty heavily used up here because it's all kinked, but nothing I'm going to try to pull out of here. Yeah, drill bit sitting there. And they're around the corner in an even bigger stope, so let's go join them over there. So while I was back up in there, they've come over here and climbed this other ladder. And look at the big stope they're in up here. My God. I mean, that is a huge stope area. And Marci's still around the corner and climbing. I got a little spider monkey up in there somewhere. And, this is a master. I'd say the back is probably a good 40, 50 feet up there easily. This area has been chewed out like nobody's business. I mean, clearly Anaconda had something back up in here. Let's climb up there and see what they got. Well, show me, so show the audience.
You're on camera.
And what do you got up there? That's probably where we're going next. It's a tough one. I'm not really fond of this area because obviously our air circulation is for crap up here. It's humid like being in a sauna. Yeah, it's like this big stope we got in Colombia. It's humid, you still got oxygen, but wow, look at that back up there. You can't even see it on the video, but this room is huge. The War Eagle I never knew I had. So having come up all that, and that is, we probably climbed 60, 70 feet there. We've got another incline, a chute going down with more laddering and piping, and so we can take a quick look over there. And it still goes up over here and back around the corner. This is a whole section. This mine don't quit up here. Incredible. Or as they say in France, incredible. So here's a nice air fixture, and looking well down here, we've got more vent pipe coming up from below. There remains of some pretty nasty looking ladder here, and an ore pass right around the corner if I can get to it without sliding down it. So my thought is this might be the second of the sections I wanted to come up into from below. And if it is, I know it's a vertical ladder with some bad ladder that needs to be fixed before we can climb it. So we're not going to go down here today, because if we get down there and hit that, we just got to turn on and come back. But yeah, you can see this big slusher stope up behind us. This one goes on and on and on. Marci found an old Tabasco bottle over there, which got some age to it. Kind of goes to the sorry, back in the 40s and 50s, the mines were hiring a lot of Mexican and Puerto Rican laborers up here. So with the war on and the draft, they couldn't get American boys, but they could hire foreign workers and Native Americans, and they did a lot of those. So. What y'all got? Something cool?
Yeah, look at this old can.
I'm coming. What you got?
I don't know if you want this, Rod.
You know, let's take a look at it. That is a nice old can.
Oh,
Maybe. Pretty rusty.
I don't know what it's from.
Yeah, that's the thing, we don't know. Screw cap. Let's just let it stay here and we'll carry on. Oh, we got a lot of drill bits here on the floor, so normally those get picked up by souvenir hunters. This whole area is chock full of them. So, some the canvas vent pipe. We do have an old lantern battery that some chowder had left behind, probably back in the 70s or 80s. So those ones are old. And a lot of pipe, I think it goes back to that section, a little electric wire still left behind. So definitely area not picked over by the looters. And no graffiti, no litter. Love it. Jeez Louise, look at this stope. Again, you really can't tell the scale here in a video, but that sucker's probably easy 150 yards across. The back in this section's probably half again that high. I mean, this is just a monumental slusher stope. You can still see well, the wood framework left back over there and the cables. So that's probably the old slusher cables. God, I'd like to think there's a slusher blade back in here somewhere, but we never find it. Those stopes were never meant for people to go up and down them, and we're sure not going to try to be the first. Area completely unscrapped out. We've got, you know, water and air pipes here, so it's not too much fall, a little bit, but not very much. So, hell of an area. I never knew this existed back in here before, and so far we found zero litter, zero graffiti, and a ton of artifacts, which suggest if anybody's been back up in here, they're a decent kind of folks, and there ain't been a lot of them. So we're not even finding footprints in here. So yeah, this is the closest come to virgin territory in this mine that I think I've seen. So hell of an adventure so far. God, I hope we live to show this video. Looking at the rock pillar here, we've got a nice iron oxide vein here in the middle, and off to either side looks like some pretty good galena back up in here. I think this whole rock pillar section is galena, several feet thick. So, and you can see more of it. I mean, the camera's not showing it. We can see it back up in there over here. So this is this big room, big room. If this was all galena like we're seeing here, this is what kept Anaconda in business, you know, running through the 50s. So hauled out of here by the carload. This is the sort of stuff that justifies the 24 gauge track and the probable electric locomotives that used to run down here below. So a lot different than most of the mine with the 18 gauge, the hand carts. This was big industrial mining back in the 50s. And yeah, I wish I could show it better in this pillar, but yeah, that's why they were doing it. Wow. All right. Come on down. Yes. Again, this big stoper in here, some of the back space up there, maybe 100 feet up. I mean, it's massive. Here we are, coming down out of it. Rule number 1 here at Tecopa Mines Explorer: don't die.
Or you're not gonna look at your on it?
Voids the warranty.
All right, I'm off the rope. I'm off the rope.
And this is where artifacts come from the museum. We are taking this drill post out of here because we found the missing other end of it a little further back up into that stope. So here's Tony expertly rigging a line onto it so we can lower it back down the ore pass and hopefully not clobber anybody behind or down there, or take out the infrastructure before we get onto it. So, trusting you not to kill us. Yeah, so those artifacts weren't just grown in the museum; they were recovered from the mine, areas like this. So, but y'all will be able to see this one down below soon enough. Come back for the advanced tour, because that's where this is. Okay, look impressive. Get your light off the camera. Here we go. And stop laughing. Gravitas. Oi! We got something heavy coming down, so stand clear. All right. Send it. Ow. I only got 1 foot that actually have nerves, and you got to set that right on it.
Did I hit it? I'm sorry.
Buy me a beer later. We're good.
Okay. All right, you kids all right down there?
Pair of magpies down here. Hang on, we're cinching the knot. Okay.
Make sure it doesn't slip around.
Right. Here it comes.
Go down with it.
You do not go down with it. It could hurt. Ta-da. Yeah. You sure we came up that way? Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to go down and guide the tool the rest of the way down and see what we got. Ta-da! The darn thing's down here. So we brought it down about 100 feet down out of that stope up there. Happy, happy, joy, joy. And I'll be displaying it down here somewhere. Oh, here we are, heading back out. My voice is gone. So we've been up in a space that I've never seen before, and it's probably one of the largest spaces in this mine. Found a dynamite tamping rod here, patent on both ends, I won't say brand new, but unmessed with. Because usually they get broken off or somebody uses it for a torch. But we got it now, and we've also hauled out that jack and a few other artifacts, which are now sitting back at the slusher station below the ore bin we climbed up. So definitely an interesting explorer that added to my working knowledge of the mine here. Probably not an area I'm going to take a lot of people into because it's on the scale of 1 to sketchy, it's extra sketchy, but it's definitely interesting. So glad we did it. Long, hard slog, but worth it. And I'm looking forward to a nice hot bath as soon as we get back somewhere near civilization or Tecopa.